So we will be doing practical number 1 of data science. Practical on data collection, data curation and management for unstructured data. Unstructured data is generally raw text, also known as corpus. This type of data is stored in NoSQL DB such as MongoDB and Amazon DynamoDB. We will be using Apache CouchDB for a practical. This kind of DBs are document type DB and uses JSON-like syntax to store and retrieve data, which is nothing but key value pair. The language that we will be using is R. R is a programming language used for statistical computing, which is 3 times faster than Python in production, and we will be using RStudio as our IDE for running R scripts. We will start by installing Apache CouchDB in our system. Then we install SOFA package, a connector for CouchDB via CRAN. CRAN is comprehensive R archive network. It's just network of FTP and web servers used to download packages. Then we import SOFA library. Okay. Then we create connection object. Okay. We will be using cushions. Cushions are nothing but connection class which contains all connection info to CouchDB instance. There are two ways to create connection, either by passing the required parameters such as host name, transport protocol, port number, username and password, or by directly doing this. Cushions $new function. Okay. So to check whether the connection object got created or not, we can ping it x $ping. Okay, here it says welcome, that means working. Then we will create new database by calling db_create function. Okay, the required arguments for creating a database is connection object, database name, and others are optional. So x db name, let's name it as ty. Okay, yeah, when you call a function you pass arguments, and when you create a function you pass parameters, so don't get confused. Now then we list all the available dbs in our system, so we can do this by calling db_this function, and we just need to pass connection object. Okay, so there are two dbs, sy and ty. Okay, let's create JSON documents and add them in database. Let's name the document number 1 as doc1. Okay, as it uses JSON-like syntax, so this is what it looks like. In first document we have 3 fields as roll number, name and grade. Roll number 1, let's name them randomly A, B, C, and grade as A. Okay, we call doc_create function to add them in a database. Required arguments are cushion, that's connection object, then db name, that's ty, then document, that's document number 1, and document id. Okay, document id is an optional argument. If you don't pass document id, by default Apache CouchDB uses universal unique identifier for assigning document IDs, but it's easier if we assign it, as it's helpful in performing operations on them. Let's create another 2 documents and add them in database 2. Let's name them as document number 2 and document number 3. For roll number 2, let's name it again randomly PQR, and let's give the grade as O. Okay, give the ID as 2, document number 2. For document number 3, roll number 3 and name as XYZ, leave the grade as A, and I add another field as remark sparse. Okay, give the ID as A3, document A3 here. Let's add them in a database. Okay, now let's do long pulling. Long pulling returns a stored list of changes made to the documents in the database. We call db underscore changes function to this. We pass the record arguments as cushion and db name as ty. That's it. Okay, the output is log. Search for id where id greater than null, so all the documents will display. This kind of simplest search where we are returning all the documents that are available in database. For that we call db underscore query function. The current arguments are connection object, database name, that's ty, then query question is an optional argument, not required. We directly use selector. We call list function because we want to return all the output in list format. We want id argument, right? Id argument greater than, again it should be in list format. For greater than we use $gt greater than null, $docx sorry. Okay, as all the documents have id greater than null, so it returns all the documents. Here we are describing the criteria used to select the document. This is the criteria. $docx is a response JSON object that returns the array of documents matching the search, and $gt is any JSON argument whose purpose is to tell that this field is greater than to the argument that this is argument specified. In our case, it meant id argument is greater than the null. Okay, search for students with grade A. So again it's kind of a little similar. We copy this, paste it over here. What we want to change is the selection criteria and nothing else. Okay, with grade A, so we use grade equals to, remember this is case sensitive, so if we use small a, we should return, okay, first let, yeah, we should return an empty list because our document have capital A. Okay, you can see document number 1 and document number 3 has grade as A, and if we use grade as O, it should return document number 2, right? Search for students with remark pass, just similar, just change the selection criteria again. Instead of grade we call remark and pass the value as pass. Should return only third document because that's the only document that has remark field. Return only name and grade fields where roll number is greater than 2. Okay, this is similar to, it's very similar to this. The only thing that's different over here is we will be using fields, sorry, fi fields argument which filters out what field we want to return from each object. Okay, so what we want to return is name and grade, name comma grade. Okay, and here what we want the argument is roll number whose value should be greater than 2. Okay, so it returns document number 3. The name is XYZ, which was in our document number 3, right? Convert the result of a query into a data frame using JSONLite. Okay, so for this we use JSONLite library. This one, JSONLite is a robust high performance JSON parser and generator of R. We call the library library function, the package is JSONLite, right? Okay, we have called it. Now let's create a text document. It's very similar to this. Instead of docx over here we use fields, fields arguments again with all the fields that are available in the all three documents, that is name, then roll number, then grade, then remark. We pass this as s equals to in literals JSON. Okay, we can check it over here. Okay, the output is ready to work. Display the JSON documents we call from JSON function. The required argument is text file, that is res, and $DSCS. Okay, returns the output in a data frame format. Let's delete a document. We call doc underscore delete function. Required arguments are cushion, database name, it's ty, and document id which we want to delete. Let's delete document number 1. It got deleted. To check if it got deleted or not, we call doc underscore get function. Required arguments, the standard arguments, that's the document id which we deleted was a1, so it should return 404. Yeah, because it got deleted. Let's update the document finally. Let's create another document which we will be using to update with. Let's name it as doc4. Okay, in this document we have 4 fields. Let's create this first, empty key value pairs. It's easier to assign them. Okay, the first field is name, the value is s drink. The second field is beer with value as test. The third field is note with value as yummy, and the fourth field is note 2 with the value as a. Okay, let's call the doc underscore update function. Okay, the required arguments are connection object, database name, it's ty. Okay, this doc doc is for the document which you are using to update with. That's doc4, and document id is the document which we will be using to update to. So let's update document number 2. Okay, a underscore 2, and rev is also required. To get rev, we simply call this function doc underscore get, and from the second document we copy this rev and paste it over here. Okay, to check if it got updated, we simply do this. We return the document. First, the document 2 was with roll number 2, name as pqr, and grade O, which has been now updated to name as string, beer test, note 2, and note 2 yummy. That's it. Thank you.